By three, they come. By three, thy way opens. By the blood of the willing, we call thee home.
What is up, and welcome back. It's Scovos bringing you another Diablo 4 video today. And in today's video, we're going to be going over the Diablo 4 quarterly update. This is the first one in a series to keep the community and fans of Diablo in the loop behind the development of Diablo 4. And in this video, we're going to be going over everything in detail, including new images, new details, information, and even a new video that I'll be playing throughout this video. So with this quarterly update behind Diablo 4, we actually have two major sections of it. One is from Angela, the lead UI designer, and the other is from Candace, the senior encounter designer. And I'll go ahead and drop a link to the quarterly update in the description of this video. You can go read it for yourself, or you can kick back, relax, and let me break it down for you. So the first thing on this quarterly update that we're going to jump right into is going to be the introduction to all of this. And basically it says the development team has been hard at work since BlizzCon, and they're really stoked to deliver this first update for us. And in my opinion, one of the most positive things in this entire article is that they're really emphasizing that they're looking forward to hearing our thoughts and comments on all of this. They want to know what we want to hear about next, what we want to hear about specifically, and what we're looking forward to. They want to share something exciting for everyone. And I really hope they stick to this mindset. I really enjoy the fact that they're taking all of our feedback, all of our thoughts, wants, desires, and opinions into account when altering this game, when editing anything, setting up the UI, creating monsters, the dark and gritty themes of Diablo 4. I love the fact that they're listening to the community. So moving on into the next section of this quarterly update, we have UI design, controller support, and co-op gameplay. And this portion of the update is brought to us by Angela, the lead UI designer. So their focus with the UI is helping the player achieve what we all want to do, while also maintaining a balance to keep the clarity of what the interface is trying to communicate. So at BlizzCon a few months ago, they seen a lot of feedback based around the inventory regarding the coloring, style, and size of icons. So to avoid interrupting gameplay with pockets of inventory management, they are not planning on bringing back different sized items. So in the current state of Diablo 4, all of the items will take up the same amount of inventory space, so inventory management is not as big of a deal. Something they have been working on and are making changes to is the overall art style of the icons in your user interface. Originally, these icons were a paintery style, but they did not come across well with the small elements in the user interface. So now they're making a different approach to it, directly basing these icons off the 3D models to give them a more natural and realistic texture. So they've also toned down the brightness and saturation of the icon backgrounds to keep the dark and gritty feel, so these icons aren't so bright and flashy. They've also added a border around the background of the items to help differentiate between the levels of rarity. And based off their very own observations of the community interacting with their game, they've completely reorganized the layout of the inventory. So their overall goal, while adjusting brightness, saturation, the icons, and the layout of the inventory, is to maintain a gritty and realistic user interface, while also balancing ease of use. And they're asking for our feedback in this area. So the next subcategory under user interface is rebinding options, and they said a surprising number of players asked for the option to rebind their primary skill to anything but the left mouse button. That way we can move around and attack completely separately. And flexibility to the binding options, it has been on the radar, and they definitely want to allow as much customization as possible. So they're giving us the ability to assign any skill to any slot and allow us to assign those skill slots to any keys. So next up on the list is the action bar. This is what you'll see while running around and playing in game, and on this action bar is where your skills, health, and resource are located. Now originally in Diablo 4, the position of this was the bottom left hand corner of the screen, but based off usability test results, the team's feedback, and all of our feedback, they're going to move the default position of this action bar back to the bottom center for PC players. So this bottom center position of this action bar is probably what most of us are familiar with anyways, but on PC they will allow us to move it to the bottom left hand side if we choose to do so, and this bottom left hand position will be the default and only position available on console. And mentioning consoles brings us to our next category, which is controller support on PC, and this is the first Diablo game being developed simultaneously for both PC and consoles. So whether we're using a mouse and keyboard or a controller on PC, they want the user interfaces to be unified enough that switching between them won't completely throw us off. And a unified UI means that the layouts will be grid-based for ease of navigation, but also means that they will not be completely identical to allow us the best usability based off of our inputs. And something else that they go on to emphasize, and is a huge relief and I'm very happy to read and hear about, is that just because they have controller support on PC, it does not limit how complex their games can be, it just means that they have more paths that they need to consider. And our next and last section under the UI update is going to be our couch or local co-op user interface changes. And they said that they know many players enjoyed co-op in Reaper of Souls, and the biggest complaint was that when one person had a menu open, the other was unable to do anything or open their own menu. And they found the overwhelming majority of players utilized this feature in Diablo 3, so they decided to focus on this and improve the two-player local co-op experience, allowing two separate UI screens to be opened independently or at the same time, without locking the other person up. So moving into the second portion of this quarterly update, which is Monster Family and Design, and this is brought to us by Candace Thomas, the Senior Encounter Designer. So in Diablo 4, enemies and monsters will be classified into different families. One of the families that we are already familiar with is the Fallen, and during BlizzCon we were introduced to another new family called the Drowned. The Drowned will be a new threat plaguing the shores of Sanctuary. And during this quarterly update we are introduced to yet another new family, and the family is the Cannibals. So the Cannibals family has 4 different members, each with their own unique weapon and a significantly different silhouette or stance to help differentiate them from one another. And there's 2 standard melee combatants, one with a 2-handed greatsword and the other with a lightweight halberd that leaps at players from great distances. We also have the Bruiser with a spiked club in each hand that can stun players, and then we also have a dual-wielding axe Swarmer who can unleash a flurry of frontal attacks. And the Cannibal family by design has no ranged units, they only have the halberd-wielding archetype that will leap at you from great distances, and the Cannibal family as a whole will be very aggressive and fast-paced. And in Diablo 4, every single monster has been reimagined in a darker and more gritty art style. They're handcrafting everything from the ground up, including demons, NPCs, act bosses, and even the critters scurrying around, the non-aggressive wildlife that you can crush under your feet. And that's where these monster families and archetypes come into play. They want every creature to feel sophisticated and robust, and they want every encounter to feel different. So giving each one of these families a different combat style will give them a different feel. It will make every encounter unique, and honestly, I absolutely love that they're really pushing for this, that they're focusing on the gameplay mechanics. Spicing up every encounter is going to make the game have a lot more playability. And for all of you Path of Exile fans out there, you're going to know what they're talking about, giving every encounter, giving every monster family a different feel. There's going to be those ones that we love fighting, the ones that we hate, the optimal routes, and the suboptimal as well. And again, they emphasize that they want to hear our thoughts and opinions. They want to know all of our feedback based on this update, and they want to know what we want to hear about next. So don't forget to drop the comments in the section below, and I want to hear your thoughts and opinions as well. And if you want to see more content just like this for Apex Legends, Call of Duty, Escape from Tarkov, or whatever other games I'll be playing, make sure you click that subscribe button. It really does help me out a lot more than you may realize. And if you enjoyed this video specifically, you can click the thumbs up. If you did not, you're more than welcome to click the thumbs down as well. And whether you did or didn't click any of the things that I mentioned, I still hope you have a good afternoon, evening, night, morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. But thank you for stopping by, and I hope to see you in one of my next videos.